Welcome to your Voice Your Impact show, where authentic voices spark real change and bold conversations lead to lasting impact.
That's right. This is a space where we amplify ideas, celebrate stories, and challenge mindsets because every voice matters and every story has the power to transform.
Whether you're a dreamer, a doer, a change maker, or someone simply figuring it out, we are here for you. Each week, we bring inspiring guests, thought-provoking conversations, and powerful insights to help you own your voice and leave your impact.
I am the energetic EJ, a life and transformational coach, a podcaster, and an event host. I work with women who are accomplished to turn their success into legacy influence.
Hi, my name is 𝗀𝗪𝗂𝗏, but many know me as Scott Unlimited. I'm a seasoned compere and orator par excellence, passionate about connecting people through words and purpose. Beyond the mic, I'm a business intelligence professional driven by insight, strategy, and impact.
My name is 𝗀𝗪𝗂𝗏. I am an integrative life coach. I help my clients align their psychological, social, and physical well-being. I am the founder of Friends Lean On Global Foundation, a non-governmental organization that is centered on educating people about mental and emotional well-being. Like,
Subscribe,
and share. Welcome. All right. Welcome everyone. Welcome to 2026 and welcome to another episode on Your Voice, Your Impact show. I hope that you are well today, wherever you're watching from, whether you're watching on Instagram, on YouTube, or on LinkedIn. Thank you for joining us today. Please do say hi in the comment section. Let me know that you can hear me clearly and you can see me clearly. I'm really hoping that the network would not misbehave, because sometimes the network does, and then the videos or it's just lagging and all of that. Some people can hear, some people might not be able to hear, but please let me know that you can hear me wherever you are listening or watching from. Okay, so if you see my eyes going here and there, it's because I'm trying to monitor all the platforms. I can see LinkedIn, YouTube is here. If your comment comes in, I can put your comment. If on LinkedIn as well as on YouTube, I can put your comment on the screen, but on Instagram, maybe not, but I would definitely acknowledge you if you're there watching on Instagram. All right. So thank you for joining us today. It is 2026, and what a pleasure, what a glorious, opportunity to be back on the show again. And, not to waste any time, because, the year calendar just started, but the year started way before the calendar changed date, right? And so we've been on this journey for a while now. And so part of what we're doing is like, okay, we've been thinking about how do we make it better? How can we, add some flavor, to this and make it much more better? And so as you can notice, I'm the only one here today. And so that means there's been a shift in the way that the show is being delivered. So going forward, at least for the next, for this quarter, Q1, we're going to be having one host per show every week. So this is me starting off or kicking it off this year. So next week, you're going to meet with Grace, and the following week, you're going to meet with Scott. And then on the last, Monday of the month, on the months that we have 4 Mondays, right? You're going to have the three of us, myself, Grace, and Scott, come together to have a conversation with you on the show. But on Mondays or on months that have 5 Mondays, then we're going to probably have one of those Mondays where we would then all be there with a guest. So just go along with us as we go on this journey. But I want to use this time quickly to say thank you to everyone who has been a part of the journey, who has been a part of the show. To all our guests, thank you. We wouldn't have continued going on 3 years now if you were not showing up for us week in, week out. Sometimes you don't show up live, but we do see that you go back and watch the replay. And so we're grateful for you. Today, we're starting beautifully. My guest today is somebody that I really admire, her tenacity, her focus, her positive mindset. Like, it's like she has cooked her positive mindset. You can't have a conversation with Coach Belinda and not feel energized, and not feel positive, and not feel like nothing is impossible, and not feel like, you know what, I got this, I can do this. That's the kind of spirit she brings to any conversation. And so I'm super excited that she gets to be the first guest on the show today. Now, she has a brand called I Start and Finish. What a powerful brand. I want to find out on this show today. I hope you want to as well. Find out, how did that come about? How can you name your brand I Start and Finish? What's the story behind that? That's on one side. But today we're talking about how can we start and finish this year intentionally? You know, there's always that noise and the what would I call it now? You know, it's noise. Sometimes it's just noise about, oh, it's a new year, new me, new year, new look, new year, this one, a resolution, my that, and all of that. But then it starts to dwindle at the middle of January. Most people, especially workout, you hear it all over and over again. The gym subscription is always high in January. By February, it's dropping. People are dropping, you know. But this is it. There is a method to the madness. That's how it's been said, right? And I know that Coach Belinda is somebody who has, you know, done a lot of things. Talk about someone who is a lawyer and moved from being a lawyer, transitioned into being a tech expert, you know, and somebody who has been, you know, organizing conferences in countries, someone who has lived in multiple countries, organized conferences in multiple countries. And, you know, I'm reading one of her books, which is Assigned, right? And I was reading some of the things she was saying about. That's why when I read some of those things, I'm like, oh, no wonder. Anyways, you're going to find out, because I'm not sure if you read the book, but I recommend you go read Assigned, because she's like, everyone, and especially your gifts, your talent, your calling is assigned to a place, to a person, to a purpose. What is it for you? So you can see already that this woman is loaded. And so today on the show, we want to talk about how to start and finish the year with intention. It's one thing to start, it's another thing to finish. What happens in between? How can you be intentional about what happens between now and December 2026? Without further ado, I'd love to bring up on this beautiful stage my guest for today, our first guest for 2026, Coach Belinda Enoma, all the way from the US. It's 9 a.m. in the US, and I'm here 6 p.m. in Dubai. But yeah, this is what technology is making happen for us. Hello, Coach Belinda.
Hi, EJ.
How are you doing today?
I am well. I am blessed. I am excited and ready to kick off this year.
Absolutely. I can see it. Like, you are ready. Come on now. You know, black is a color. It's an official color. Like, when you deck in black, just as I say, I mean business. I'm ready to go.
I'm ready. It's a workshop. I'm ready to dig in.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you for availing yourself. I know you're quite a busy person, so thank you for availing yourself to be here. But I also know that you're a person of purpose. And that's why you said, yes, let me come and share from my own experience how I think, you know, it will help anybody who's going to listen to this episode or watch this episode later, to help them start and finish their year. But before we go that, we want to dig into who you are, to know you, why we should listen to you. I mean, I've said some things, but, you know, sometimes it's like, see, hear it from the horse's mouth, and you probably will be able to paint it deeper than I've already done. So I'll give you the floor right now. Please tell us about you. Who is Belinda Enoma?
Well, just like you said, a woman of purpose. Thank you for bringing me on. Thank you for inviting me and for making me the first guest for this year. I'm so honored and very blessed. Thank you. So I'm a woman of purpose, a woman of faith, and my journey has really been an interesting journey. And I'm just, as a woman of faith, I'm very grateful to God for just the gifts and talents and the ability to speak to people and pour into people's lives and to share my story and to empower people, whether in the marketplace or whether in corporations or in my everyday life and professional space. I'm able to just be who I am. And if we're talking about the I Start and Finish brand, it started in 2012, that's when it started. But it was before that, actually, because I keep saying to people that when you have to identify patterns in your life, and you have to identify the path that you walk on. So for I Start and Finish, it started out as a blog. It started out as a place where I needed a place that would describe everything that concerns me. Because for over 20 years, I realized more than 20 years ago that I had a gift, that I have a gift of exhortation. I realized that I have a gift to empower people, to encourage people. So I was writing devotionals. This is more than 20 years ago. I was writing devotionals. I was sending emails to my little circle, my little network, my little group. I was even shy sending those emails, just encouraging them for the day and just telling them that it's going to be okay. Whatever you're dealing with in life, it's going to be okay. That there's always a solution, that it's not the end of the world. There's light at the end of the tunnel. I was doing all those things, putting them in emails. And after a while, I started doing those devotionals online. And I Start and Finish. I sat down one day, 2012, and I said, you know what? I do IT. I do different things. That was more than 20 years ago. And I was like, I need a space that when people hear my name, they will know that this is where to go and check for Belinda Enoma. I wanted to define who I am, not for society to define me. I wanted to be in control of my own definition, not society to put me in a box and say, oh, today you're doing this, or today you're doing that, or people describe you in one way. So I started I Start and Finish. And how it came about was because I sat down and I thought about the underlying message in everything that I had been doing, in the emails that I had been sending, and the devotionals I'd been writing, and the communications and all of that fancy stuff. I thought about it and I was like, the underlying message that I've been saying for many years, and it hasn't changed today, it's still the same message, is do not quit. Do not quit. Do not give up. Because life is going to throw darts at you. Things are going to happen. Curveballs. You're going to encounter all kinds of things, unexpected things. How do you manage those things? How do you rise up from those things? How do you deal with being laid off? How do you deal with unexpected illness or the loss of a loved one? How do you deal with those kinds of things? How do you handle those things? Because it's very easy to give up. So I thought about it and I was like, the underlying message in my emails, my devotionals, and everything I've been talking about for years is do not give up, do not quit. So I thought about it. I said, I always tell people, you can finish. Start. You got to start. You got to finish. That's how it came about. So for anybody listening to me right now and thinking, okay, yeah, you have to think about patterns in your life. You have to think about the underlying factor. What describes you? When people think about you, what's the first thing that comes to mind about you? Do they feel that, oh, yeah, I've got to be around her because she's just light. Everything about her is light. Or do they feel, oh, no, don't even bring her name. Don't even talk, but don't even mention her name. I don't even want to know anything. Just stay away from me. I don't even want it because I don't want to be sad today. I don't want to have any negativity today. You don't want that kind of description. And you don't want people to define you and say, oh, she's all over the place. She doesn't know what she's doing. You don't want that. You have to have structure in your life. So at that point, I needed a way to put everything that describes me in one platform. And I started with what I knew best to do, which was writing. At that time, I started using what I knew was easy for me to do, which is hard for a lot of people to write. But for me, it was easy. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do what I know how to do. And it's just going to be easy. And I just did it. And because I had the tech background, I built the website. I did everything myself, everything. So I was like, oh, okay, we can do this. It wasn't like at that point, I wasn't really bold doing it, but I knew that I had to do it because people were relying on me to release my gift. And that's one of the things I put in my book, Assigned, that people are connected to your destiny. And if you don't release the solutions that you have within you, you're creating a disservice to those who are assigned to you because they need you to say yes so they can say yes.
Right.
They need that from you. But if you hoard the gifts that you have, if you hoard the expertise, the talents, the knowledge, and all these wonderful things that can set somebody else free, you're creating a disservice to the society, to the community, to those who are assigned to you. So it's the same thing even in the business world. When you have like solutions that you've got to release and you're still sitting on them, somebody else is going to do it. Somebody else is going to do it and may even do it better than you. So why not you? Just do it now and don't delay. So in a nutshell, that's the little background description.
Wow. That is so powerful. And I love it because I love where you started from, when you said you had to sit down and look at the patterns and say, okay, what is that one thing? And, you know, another thing that jumped at me was when you said, you see what, I don't want to be labeled. Let me label myself. I know I can do a lot of things and I'm proud about it, but I want to be the one to say, yes, I do a lot of things. I'm aware. It's not a sign of scatteredness. It is something that I know that I'm doing, and I'm putting it in a box to say, you know what, when you hear me, I start and finish anything I put my heart to do. So whether it is writing, yes, I'm going to start writing it and I'm going to finish that book. Whether it is speaking, yes, I'm going to go all out.
I'm going to do it.
Yes, I'm going to do it. So just do it. And I'm not quitting anytime soon. And look at that, 20 years in, doing anything for 20 years. Come on now. Like, no. You are an expert. Come on. Expert with what they call with evidence. You know what I'm saying? So it's so lovely. It's so beautiful to know that. And thank you for sharing that with us, because it kind of segues into the conversation we're having today, because I'm looking like, you know, again, for some people, it's like the year is just starting. You people should take a chill pill. We've don't. Let's just rest a little bit before we start it. And that's so, like, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Personally, I don't think anything is wrong with that, because I also had to take that, you know, stock that you talked about, to sit down and say, come, is it normal for us to, all of us, to reset every beginning of the year? Maybe not, because there are, like, our lives are in seasons, and all of us are not in the same season. And some of us, our season, let me just put it, I want to say our season for a new season. Our season started on a very weird calendar date. So, you know, something that I've set in motion in, let's say, October of 2025, that needs to keep, or that needs to maintain that momentum for the first 6 months. It doesn't give me any reason to want to slow down in January, because it's a new year, right? But I needed to take stock to know that, okay, no, this is my season. This is what I'm doing. So it means that my own break can come in April. And I'm saying, you know what, I'm going on a break the whole of April. Please, I'm shutting down and recalibrating. But for somebody else's January and all of that, and it's just kind of beautiful to say, okay, how then would you say, from your own experience, I know, like, based on what you just shared with us of your introduction, you've been there, done that. You've been on this journey of releasing the gifts, the talent, the skills that you carry to help other people that you feel called to. You've been in that game for 2 decades plus, right? That means, you know, you are pretty intentional in the things that you do. I've spoken with you. I'm reading your book, so I can already sense. I've seen your website, and I'm like, this woman.
And I did that myself.
I can imagine. When I say, I'm like, wow. Okay.
I love to tweak. I love to tweak things here and there, and you know.
I know. So you've been there, done that. So what would you then say from your experience as a coach, as a person, as an executive, as somebody who's been in the corporate world, who still is, who has transitioned from being a lawyer to being a tech expert? How would you say, if you were to speak to us right now, how can we start and finish our year with intention? What does intention mean to you? I'm opening the floor. I know you have all of these things, you know, put together. I would have thrown a lot at you, but please take us away and just break it down for us.
Okay, so for a little bit of background, I didn't practice law. You know, I have the law background, but I didn't practice law. But I pivoted into tech, into IT. And for a little bit of background, when I pivoted into IT, now before I even say that, sometimes we hear that people pivot because, you know, they're bored. They're like, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. This is what's trending now. We've got to make this shift. We've got to do that. Sometimes people pivot out of necessity. People pivot out of desperation. Sometimes people pivot, they shift direction because they have no choice. So for me, I pivoted into IT because this was many years ago, more than 20 plus years ago. I pivoted into information technology because I was at the point where I was frustrated. I was frustrated because I wasn't getting the kind of income that I wanted to get. I was frustrated. So I was like, you know what? People are doing this IT thing. You know, people are doing it. I don't think IT is rocket science. Come on, people doing it. And from a background where all you know is studying cases upon cases and all that fun stuff in the legal industry, to now go into programming, learning how to program and doing all that. And I did it. I connected with people who were already in the field and I asked them questions, close friends. I asked them questions. How do you do this stuff? How did you get into it? What is it that I can learn to get into this industry? What can I do to get in there and earn the kind of money you guys are earning? You're making money. So what's going on? I need to be in there as well. I need to do something. So they gave me directions and I went and I studied self-taught programming. I did it. So going into how to start and finish the year with intention, your mindset has to shift. You have to shift your mindset and say, something's got to give this year. That's for those who last year didn't go as they wanted it to go. Because like you mentioned before, you said that some people with momentum, things are going fine from last year and they just want to keep going. That's fine. I'm going to get to those people. Right now, I'm going to those who last year did not go the way they planned it to be. And they want something to change this year. So you're watching me, you're listening to me right now. You want to change. You want a shift this year. So you've got to be intentional. You've got to make up your mind and say, I refuse to be in this same spot this year. I refuse to stay in stagnation. I refuse to walk around like a confused person who doesn't know what he or she's doing, what they're doing. I refuse to be in a spot that nothing is happening. I refuse to stay that way. You have to shift that mindset, change the way you think. Once you do that, everything else can follow because we can talk from today to tomorrow. And if the person's mindset hasn't shifted, you're wasting your time. So what is important is you have to change the way you think. And one way of changing the way you think is, for example, listening to powerful people like Energetic EJ, for example, listening to this show. Yeah, that's one way. Going into events, conferences, and connecting with people that will uplift your spirit and remove yourself from destiny-destroying circles. Remove yourself from people who will drag you down and all they talk about is negativity. They don't talk about anything that's going to elevate your life. From the moment you walk in there or you join the group. In fact, some WhatsApp groups, I'm going to say this, some WhatsApp groups are detrimental to your destiny. You got to flee.
Exit.
Flee without looking back. Flee from those WhatsApp groups because the moment you get in there and you see all kinds of stuff in there, your spirit is troubled. You're troubled. The stuff that you planned to do before, you're not going to do it because now your focus is, you're distracted.
Right.
You're distracted from your goals. You're distracted from things that's supposed to elevate you. You're distracted from them because you're connected to all sorts of things. So part of shifting your mindset is making a decision today that if you are in some circles that are not uplifting, if you're in circles that are not elevating, if you're in circles that are dragging you down, they're not going anywhere. You have been saying since last year that you want to do this, you want to do that, you want to learn AI, you want to do these things, but you're not in circles where people are learning those things. You're not in circles where people who they've already achieved the level that you want to achieve in. You're not in those groups. Instead, you're in the complaining group, the grumbling circle. You got to take yourself out of those kind of places if you want to elevate this year. How to start and finish the year with intention. Part of it is changing your mindset, removing yourself from, I'm going to repeat it, destiny destroying circles. Because believe it or not, it affects your destiny. And what you do today is going to affect how the year is going to be. So we have to make that decision. It's a conscious effort that, listen, I refuse to stay in this circle anymore. And don't feel guilty about it, because sometimes we remain because we don't want to offend anyone. We're like, oh, I don't want to leave because they'll say, oh, why did she leave? What's wrong with her? She thinks she's doing this, she's doing that. I don't care. Leave. This is your destiny. Leave that circle that's not benefiting you in any form. It's not benefiting your purpose. It's detrimental to your purpose. And the more you stay there, you're wasting your precious time, and you do not have time to waste. And that's part of what I teach with I Start Unfinished, because it morphed from the blog to a global movement, where I empower people in different places across different countries and telling people that the way you start will determine how you finish. You have to be really intentional about it, because listen, all of us, right? We have a start date, which is our birth date. We have a finish date, which is our end date in this life on earth. The middle, because you've got a dash, a hyphen in the middle, your birth date to end of life date. What happens in that dash, in that middle? What happens in that middle? That's crucial. And that's where we are right now, because we're alive. So we've already started. So what happens right now is very crucial. So the mindset, like I said, and we kind of underestimate the power of being in negative circles. They are really detrimental. You will not believe. They're really detrimental. In fact, there are some people who are close to you. Someone's listening to me. There's some people who are close to you that should not be close to you. You've given them the front seat of your life, and they don't deserve to be there, and they're detrimental to you because of manipulation, because of all kinds of things. I tell you, one of my most read blog posts, and I wrote this many years ago, more than 10 years ago, till today, one of my most read, and people continue to reach out to me about it, is how to discern the spirit of manipulation. That's one of my most read blog posts. And every time I go and look, I'm like, wait a minute, what did I even write in this thing? It's one of the most popular, most visited, how to discern the spirit of manipulation. So you have to really understand that manipulation plays a big role in why a lot of people do not finish what they need to finish, because of distractions. And also because of who we're connected to. Who you're connected to can either uplift you or destroy you. So we have a choice. I could talk about this all day, but
I know. I'm just going to.
Mindset is one.
Mindset is one, yeah. But I'm going to put a pin on that just to buttress on this mindset before we move to the next thing. When you talk about this manipulation thing, I just finished listening to Starts With Why by Simon Sinek, and this is one of the things he talked about manipulation versus inspiration. Like a lot of people leverage manipulation rather than inspiring people. And that's so important and interesting when you say that, that a lot of people are finding it difficult to move from where they are to where they want to be because of distractions that was caused by manipulation, whether that is by proximity or by being in circles that do not serve you, right? And I think that's very, very important for anyone who's listening right now to note that. Pay attention. What is distracting you? You might just think, oh, it's just I'm just always busy on social media, but that's manipulation. The marketers are also manipulating you. Who else? The question is, who else is manipulating you in your circle that you need to pay attention to so that you can withdraw or sever that relationship to get to where you need to get to. There's another thing you said that I want you to, as you continue in this conversation, when you said, the way you start a thing is how you finish it. I think I struggle with that because when you said, and immediately you talked about birth to death, right? And the I've been within. And I mean, there are people who started, like in a even our Lord, look at where he started, look at where he ended, very different places. So maybe you want to put some shed some light on that as well. Is it it's depending on what we're talking about, or generally speaking? Yes,
absolutely. So when I said the way you start is is how you're going to finish, is the mindset. I'm still talking about the mindset. The way you start it and is how you finish is still your mindset, Because if you operate with a positive mindset, no matter how much struggle you encounter, no matter how much frustration and heartache and whatever it is that can pull you down, but if you operate with a positive mindset, if you operate with a faith-filled mindset, you walk around knowing that nothing can shake you. That's what I mean by the way you start is how you finish. So if you are walking with a faith-filled mindset, no matter what is thrown at you, you are going to push. You're going to press to the finish line. You're not going to quit. You're not going to give up. That's exactly what I mean by that. Because a lot of times, listen, life can do some serious damage. Things can happen.
Tell me about it.
And people are going to quit and say, I can't do this anymore.
I know.
But you have to really be determined and say, you know what? Yeah, I can't do this anymore, but I know I can do it. I start and finish. I can do this thing. I can. And then you rise up. And then when you connect with the right people and you listen to people who uplift your spirit, suddenly you jump up and say, I can do it. I don't have to quit. So that's what I mean by the mindset is crucial.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for clarifying that. And yes, please go ahead. After mindset, changing your circle, discerning the spirit of manipulation. What else or how else?
Something else. There's something else is really big. Something else that you need to really do is to activate your audacity to become.
Ooh, that word. That's my word for the year.
Activate your audacity to become who you're supposed to be.
Love it.
Activate your audacity to become who you're supposed to be. Because a lot of times we're afraid of launching out. We're afraid of what people are going to say about us. We're afraid of what society will say about us, whatever it is. But if you want to start and finish this year with intention, then you've got to have the audacity to say, audacity to release yourself. You have to have the audacity to release your sparkle, audacity to shine your light against all odds. You have to do that. So, anybody listening to me, watching this today, apply the audacity to become who you're supposed to be. You know who you are, but life has thrown you, it's given you curveballs, it's dealt with you, but you haven't done what you're supposed to do because you think you're not qualified. You think you're not good enough. You think you're too old. There's lots of people saying, I'm too old. I can't do it anymore. Let the kids handle that. I can't do it. You're not too old. Get up and help yourself. Apply the audacity to become who you're supposed to be. You're not too old. You got to shine that light and release your sparkle. I see this a lot of women. I say, you're beautiful. You exude light. Release the light. Shine brightly. Let the world see you. Wow. Let us know what you can do. This is not the time to hide. 2026, you're not hiding. It's not the time to hide. You've hidden enough. Come out. Shine brightly for maximum impact. That's what I say. Because there's some people like, oh, I don't want to do this because I don't want people to say, oh, she's too much, she's too that. I said, listen, darling, there are people who are assigned to your level of brightness. So when you turn it up, let it shine brightly. And the people who need that level of brightness and say, come on, girl, shine. I need it. That's it. So don't be bothered about that. Go all out. Don't be listen, go big or go home.
Right.
So you're going to do it or you're not. But I want to encourage you to do it because I know that you're qualified to do it. And do you know why I believe that a lot of people, you're qualified to do it, qualified to shine, you're qualified to release your sparkle, and you're qualified to have the audacity to become who you're supposed to be because God has already equipped you with what you need. You have it in you already. You just need somebody to tell you, come on, you can do it. Come on. And that's what I'm saying now. You can do it.
You can do it.
Yeah.
What if somebody is listening to you and they're struggling? Like, what exactly is even audacity? What does audacity mean? Or what does it look like?
Boldness to do what you got to do. You got to be brave. You got to do it. I told you before when I started writing the devotionals and I start and finish. I launched I start and finish. It started out as a blog. initially I was like, oh my gosh, this is really going out there now. Because anybody could just Google this and just see this, my post. And what if people don't like it? And I'm like, I don't really care. It's either it's for you or it's not for you. Keep it moving.
Right. Boldness.
Either it's for you or it is not for you. Keep it moving. So you have to have that audacity to become who you are supposed to be.
Right.
I don't start and finish because I needed a place that would describe me. Because it didn't exist, because I needed to be in control. I needed to define it, not society define me. So I'm saying this to somebody now, you have the audacity to become who you need to be. If you can't find what you need, build it, create it. You're qualified for it. Don't sit there and dwell in frustration and say, I can't even do it. I can't even do it. You can do it. The people who are doing it, they're not smarter than you, but they're doing it. The difference is they did it.
They did it.
That's the difference.
You have the courage to do it.
You've got to have the courage to do it.
Absolutely. I hear you. And when you talk about audacity and when you talk about just doing it and not, caring about what people say, because I think that's one of the biggest things that kills people's sparkle. Oh my God, what will people say? What will my friends say? What will my spouse say? What will my church say? What will these people, and all of that, if you are able to train yourself. And the truth is, you can't even do that without taking action. One of my coachee, I love how dedicated she is with her journey. She's been building her confidence. This is somebody who did not have the opportunity to go to school because her mom died early. And so she just, plunged into, go and do house help here. And that's how they just transferred her up and down. She didn't learn to read until she was 20. And this was just a couple of years ago. But now she can read, she can write, and she's speaking now. Amazing. And now she's building her confidence openly so that she can help other young people. Like, she's so convinced, so convicted in her. Amazing. I think it's a calling now to say, you know what, this is why I exist, and I really want to help young people. And I stumbled on her post recently. She's like, you know what, I've always wanted to do this, but I sat down and just kept thinking and talking about it. But not until I started to act on it did I start. Yes, if you look at a video she did maybe last year, and now there's a stark difference. Now she can speak. Now she can comport herself. She can, she can articulate. And that's what you just said now. If you're wondering and you're listening, you're like, okay, audacity, okay, how can I have the boldness? You cannot have the boldness until you do it. You got to do it. That's the difference. The boldness comes in the doing. That's the difference. And I tell you, when I started writing those emails and the devotionals and all that stuff, next day I published a book. My first book was published in 2003, which is like how many years 2003, now? 2003. Wow. Exactly. Yeah, that's my very first book, 2003. So I've written 5 books now. So the thing is, what people really need to understand is you need that audacity. And there's one more thing I want to add, the courage to pivot. And this is one of the topics that's going to be discussed at the Corporate Women's Summit that's happening in Dubai. Tell us about it. The courage to pivot. You have to have the courage to pivot. You have to have that because, listen, I mentioned before, from a law background to IT, to data privacy, to cybersecurity, to AI governance, to being who I am, applying the audacity to become, I am not where I ought to be yet. But the difference is I am doing something. I'm doing something that's making impact globally. I am doing something. And you can do something too. Because I tell you, at the beginning, especially when you have a law background, people were talking like, oh, are you doing, what is it? Are you doing law today? Or is it IT? Or which one is this? Or which one is that? And I'm like, no, you cannot define who I am. Okay? There are people who have multiple potentiality. Right. That's the way they're created because they can excel in different fields. That's how they're created, multi-potentialites. You cannot put them in a box. So the mistake a lot of us make is we allow people to define us. And we spend decades operating in one capacity when we're supposed to implement several.
But if, to touch on the on multipotentiality, we have to also be careful with that in terms of you have to know how to manage your multiple expertise and your multiple gifts and talents. You have to know how to do that so you're not all over the place. That's another topic entirely. But what I want to say is the courage to pivot. I have pivoted multiple times. I live in the US, but I was in the UK. That's a pivot. When you pivot, transatlantic pivot, it's not easy. However, you have to do what you got to do. You have to have that courage to pivot, because there's some people who are thinking of relocating to another country and they don't have that courage. They don't have the boldness. Well, you're listening to somebody who has pivoted multiple times, professionally, personally, in different capacities. We are dynamic. Human beings are dynamic people. We're dynamic. You don't stay in one spot and be frustrated. When it's time to move, you've got to identify your season and get up and go so you don't miss. Opportunity's got a time slot. But if you just let that opportunity go, somebody else is going to grab it. So make it you. Get up and go. Apply the courage to pivot. Activate that courage to pivot.
I wanted to share quickly as we begin to wrap up this conversation, because I know, you need to run quick, you need to run soon, is to say that if you were going to highlight, now you've talked about changing the mindset, changing the circles, changing being discerning, also activating the audacity as well as the courage to pivot. If you were going to talk to somebody who is like, okay, all these things you are saying, at the end of this, if I'm even an introvert, I really don't have people around me as such. My mindset, how do I really change it? Audacity, okay. You say I should just be doing, I do, and then I will grow along the way. What are some practical steps that if they leave this conversation now, they can start to take those steps that will lead them? And is there a way, because now we're in January and we're talking about starting and finishing? It's like we just started. Why are we talking about finishing? Why is it important to look at it from that aerial view and then working our way back into breaking it into just, recap all of that in a quick way, and then I'll let you go.
Well, we're talking about finishing because it is crucial. And it's not just about finishing. You want to finish with excellence. You want to have a flourishing finish. Because you can just finish and then you're like, you want to have an excellent finish. So if you're in that frame of mind where you're like, I don't know what I need, how I'm even going to start, I don't know, I go to istartandfinish.com, right? I've been doing this for many, many years. Go to istartandfinish.com and lots of articles, lots of materials to help you get off your feet, to help you do what you need to do. Okay, connect with people like Energetic EJ. Connect with people like me. You have lots of resources available to you. There's people listening right now who are saying, oh, you know what, I don't have finances. You don't have to have money to do these things. I tell you, when I started, I didn't have any money, but I needed to do what I needed to do. That's why I keep talking about mindset. If you're determined to make a change, you will.
Yeah. So
if
true.
You are determined to make a change, you will. Nobody will force you. You will know in your spirit that, I can't do this anymore. I have to make a change. You need to know. But there's one more thing before we wrap up our time and all that stuff. One more thing I want people to get, right? To start and finish this year intentionally. One more thing is to mind your business.
I like that. Elaborate.
I knew it was going to make you laugh. You're right. Mind your business. Seriously. Because we get drawn into things that don't concern us. And when you get drawn into things that don't concern you, you're going to lose your focus. For you to finish this year with intentionality, you have to implement focused action. You need to implement focused action. Mind your business. Literally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. Mind your business. Spiritually means don't get drawn into things that don't concern you, because when you do that, it's going to get into your spirit, and then you're going to dwell on it, and you're going to even think about it for the whole day. And even you might see it in your sleep. When you're sleeping, you might dream about negative stuff. Mind your business, literally. If you own a business, mind it. Take care of it. Do what you have to do. Do the work. Mind your business physically. Do the work. Work that business. Mind your business. That's it.
I love it. I know that one slaps,
but it's just
but it's just the truth. Like it's just the truth. Like there is no changing your mind if you don't mind your business. There is no changing your circle if you don't mind your business. You know, and I've seen people who I don't even know how they do it, but man, kudos to them, because it's still something. But it's like, you know, there are people who exist and they know what's going on in every other person's life. They are not perturbed about contributing or whatever. They're just busy consuming, and they know what's going on here and there and there and there and there, except what's going on in them.
Yeah, there you go.
So this one is for you. Mind your business. Like literally face your front.
That's it.
If you want to write, sit down and write every day.
That's it.
If it's podcast you want to start,
Mind your business.
Get a mic and record. It doesn't have to be perfect. There is no perfection anywhere.
You got to start from somewhere.
Exactly.
You got to start from somewhere.
A truth that came to me is like, see, the reason we don't, and this one came on a spiritual level, but I can apply it everywhere. It's like, you know, it's difficult for some of us as people of faith to talk about our faith, to share our faith with other people. Why? Because we're still looking at us.
Nobody's perfect.
You're still looking at yourself.
We're not perfect human beings.
What if they don't understand? What if I say something wrong? What if they ask a question and I don't
and you can't answer?
What about you? Yours is to live and share your experience. And the thing is, nobody has it all together. So whatever you're sharing today is where you are at now. And the truth is, if you're minding your business, I can promise you, you are growing. You will get there. What you say tomorrow will be deeper than what you said today. But if you're busy worrying about what people will say, if you'll be correct, you won't do anything. And that's how you become stuck. So please, we're saying, mind your business, mind your mind, mind your heart, mind your soul, mind your body this year.
Yes. Mind your business, literally.
Literally. Thank you so much, Coach Belinda. Quickly, before I release you 1 minute, talk about the corporate summit, the corporate women's summit, the corporate women's summit happening.
The corporate women's summit happening in Dubai this month, and it's for women leaders who work in the corporate sector. So it's a very important summit for women to attend, because we're really going to be talking about, one of the topics we're going to talk about is the courage to pivot. And this is so crucial, especially now, because a lot of women who have left the workforce, for example, who used to be in corporate. So it's also for not just for women who are currently in corporate, but they're women who have already left and transitioned, who are thinking, what do I do next? And how do I apply this courage to pivot that we mentioned before? So it's a very interesting and much needed luxury summit for women in the corporate sector. It's a time for premium networking. It's a time to get strategies that you need for your next level. So if you're in the corporate sector in Dubai and you're watching this, I invite you to be there, to be in the summit January 31st this month. And we'd love to have you in the room, because it's an exclusive room in a luxurious setting. Premium networking. This is not, when I say premium networking, I'm not talking about the kind of network you just exchange business cards and that's about it. We want premium networking that can open doors from inside. This is not time wasting summit. Nobody's got time for that. Remember, I start and finish brand. We don't waste time. We get to what we need to get to.
Mind our business.
We mind our business and we keep it moving. So I invite you. I want you to be in the room. EJ is going to be in the room. So
absolutely. Yes.
Welcome.
Welcome. And from all over. So if you're not in the UAE currently and you'd love to be here, just make inquiries. We can direct or guide you to the places. If you have to, apply for your visa and things like that, just reach out if you really want to be in the room, because I think, when we say premium, we meet premium. And if you know anything about the UAE, you would know that UAE has premium written all over it, right? So you want to be here if you're watching from anywhere in the world and you love to be a part of the conference. It's just a couple of weeks away. So if you need to prepare, it's now. All right. So go register for it. Follow Coach Belinda Enoma. Belinda Enoma across platforms, whether it's, I start and finish on Instagram, but if you type Belinda Enoma,
Google, for example, you're going to see everything that describes everything.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that one house that describes multiple expression. I love it. I love it. So yes, please go to istartandfinish.com for everything that you need, and Coach Belinda has a lot of resources, so you can tap into that to actually start this journey, or whether you want to pivot or you're looking at, just focusing. There are too many resources, on the website. So please do visit it and get the resources you need. Thank you, Coach Belinda. I know you have to run now.
Thank you for having me. Thank you
so much. And I can't wait to see you on the 31st. Well, we're going to see before 31st, but yes, I can't wait to see you soon in Dubai. Yes. Have a blessed day. God bless you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, thank you so much for being a part of the show today. I hope that you've learned a thing or two, and I hope that you're fired up. I told you at the beginning that when you speak to Coach Belinda, she has a way of putting fire in you to say, you know what, I can do anything. And I'm hoping that you're feeling that right now. And I know it can, that feeling can dissipate instantly if you don't put system in place to capture it. My coach would say you need to capture that energy into something. And how do you do that? Is you maybe write down 1 or 2 actions that you can take based on everything you've heard. Start from one place. She talked about 5 or 6 things that you can do to help you start and finish your year intentionally. Pick one. Is it changing your circle? Quickly make a note right now and say, you know what, this night I am going to spend 1 hour auditing my contact list. That is WhatsApp, that is my social media. I'm going to audit it and say, look at the contacts. Who do I have here that no longer serves me? And see, on the flip side is, who do I have here that I have just left fallow? There are people that God has placed in your life. They are in your corner. They are there. They've got your back, but they don't know how to help you because you've not spoken to them. You've not had, conversations with them that would help them understand where you are at and how they can play a role in your life. And all you need to do is book a session with them, or maybe book a date with them. Say, you know what, I want to take you out for coffee, or I want to take you out for lunch, and then just get to know them, let them get to know you. And that way they understand where you are at, where you're going, and how they can help, or what role they can play. Sometimes they might not be the one helping you directly, but they know a resource, they know somebody, they can open the door, they can refer you. Please take one action. That is how you capture this energy that you might have contracted from this conversation today. That's how you capture it into action. And because it is intentional action that brings about transformation. Not knowing, you can know what to do and still not be transformed by what to do. There are people who know that if they eat healthy, they will be fine, but they don't. And so they're not healthy, right? So in the same way, you might know all these things you said, but they've not worked for you yet because you've not put them into practice. So my challenge for you today is to dedicate time and be intentional about one thing, just one. Sometimes we also overload ourselves, like, oh, I'm going to do this and this and this and this and this and this. And then when it is time to do it, you're like, oh my God, there's so much to do, and you get tired. Pick just one thing. Sit with that one thing. When you can gather momentum for that one thing, it helps you to gather momentum for the other thing. All right. So please do that and let me know if this session has been helpful and valuable to you. Please drop a comment on whatever platform you're watching from. All right. Whether you're watching on Instagram, you can drop a comment under the poster that we had together for this particular episode. Drop your comments in the comment section. Let me know what dropped for you. If you're on LinkedIn, drop your comments in the comment section. I see you, Donna. Thank you, Donna Fort Regis, who says, love that, mind your business. Absolutely. So if anything has dropped for you from this episode, please drop a comment in the comment section so that we can keep the conversation going. My name is the Energetic EJ, and this year I'm really focused on a leading conversation that help people move forward, whether as an event host, whether as a conference opener or closer, whether as a panel moderator. These are the kind of things that I'm focusing on for 2026. So if you're watching me or listening to me right now and you are a conference producer, a leader, or somebody who is creating events, please, I am your plug this year. Reach out to me. And if you also need speakers, of course, I'm going to bring the energy in for the calm audacity that brings conversation, that humanizes conversation in events so that everyone is leaving with something, both the speaker, the audience, and everyone in that conversation. So please, let's work together. If you're watching me on LinkedIn, you can click on my LinkedIn bio, and you can, we can talk about it. There's a link there for you to inquire about my services as an event host. Please do that, and then let's get to work together this year. All right. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. This is Your Voice, Your Impact show, where we are helping people amplify their voices for impact. All right. You can be a part of this every Monday. Next week, Monday, you're going to be seeing 𝗀𝗂𝗂𝗍𝗂. The Monday after that is going to be 𝘀𝗵 Unlimited. And on the last Monday of this month, we're all going to come together to have a conversation with you. Keep in touch. God bless you, and do have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye-bye.